Welcome back to our community. Susie Thomas visiting with Joel Daniel Harris from Tom Todd. We just learned about a very exciting program. The United Way Young Leaders are putting together Soup, which is kind of a soup of community ideas while we are served soup.
That's right.
And choose the best ideas. Really amazing ideas that could really, really progress our community on and go forth. You're also involved with bringing an amazing movie to the Canton Palace Theater, which will be playing tonight. Is it tonight only?
Yes, that's right. Tonight only, November 19th. The show starts at 7:30. The doors open at 7, but you probably want to know what exactly it is that you're walking through those doors for.
We certainly do, and this is an amazing opportunity. Go ahead and tell us all about it.
So you might have heard the story of a young woman named Malala Yousafzai. She was just a kid in Pakistan, a girl who had a desire to get an education. But at the time when she was growing up, when she was just 11, 12, the Taliban came in and took over the part of Pakistan, the Swat Valley that she lived in. Now she said, I don't want to stand for this. I want to be able to continue to get my education, because one of the things that the Taliban brought in with them was extreme control over the entire society. And one of those pieces was that girls could no longer be educated. So she started standing up with her classmates and saying, no, we want to keep going to school. We're going to do what we can. They did things like take signs off of schools so people wouldn't know that it was a school. They kept going anyway. Her dad was instrumental in keeping schools going in that time as well. She was so effective at being a spokesperson for this movement to keep girls pursuing education so that they could be just incredibly active, participants in society and helping to develop a wonderful space, that the Taliban put out an assassination, put out a hit on her.
And she was how old at this time?
She was 14 when they put this out. And she saw the threat online and she said, well, this can't be real. This you got to be kidding me. This can't be real. But it was true. And when she was 15 years old, they came and they shot her on her way home from school in the head. And miraculously, she survived.
Yeah.
And she's become a leading advocate for education and for women's rights around the world. She's now a Nobel Peace Prize winner, the youngest ever recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize, and continues to be active in really promoting women and the need for education, especially for young girls throughout the globe.
An amazing, articulate speaker. What did that do to her family? Do you know? You said her father was very involved. I would think he would feel quite guilty knowing that his daughter had been so involved and following his lead in, quite rightly, working towards education for women in countries that had not really promoted education for women,
Right.
where it was discouraged. And yet they had the foresight to see that this would be a good thing, and a good thing for their country and for their communities. But what kind of an impact did her being shot have on the family?
Yeah, it was a very deep impact. I mean, for one, the whole family has since had to leave Pakistan for their safety, and hasn't been able to go back home since then, as I understand it. And but one of the so I'm going to answer that through tying back real quick, that what's showing tonight is a documentary called He Named Me Malala, and it's reflecting on her dad that named her Malala, and what that has this great and incredibly powerful historical meaning that you'll have to come see in the movie tonight. But one of the cool things about this movie, about this documentary, is that we'll have the chance to actually sort of see how those family dynamics play out. So she has siblings, and figure out how to, so there's footage of that, and her parents, and so they're normal people in one sense, taking an incredible stand, yes, but also very normal in a lot of ways, and so we get to sort of see how that family dynamic plays out in real time tonight as part of the documentary.
What is their life like right now? I know she's doing quite a bit of speaking, and obviously they've made this documentary about their lives. What does reality look like for Malala today?
Yeah, she's, I think, 19 years old now, so she's still a teenager. She's still in school, studying and, working to further her education. As I understand it, they live in England. It's possible that they could have moved, but that was the last that I was aware. And but yeah, she travels all over. She has a book that came out just a couple years ago that I've had the opportunity to read that is just so inspiring and really incredible. And now that this documentary, it was just released in the U.S. in October, and now we have the chance to see it here. As far as I know, that hasn't been in other theaters in the area, and a one night only sort of opportunity to come see it and experience more of her story, to be inspired. Yeah, I've had the chance to show this to some of the middle school students that I work with, not this documentary, but other interviews with Malala, and they are so impressed by sort of her spirit in the face of really difficult, obviously incredibly challenging situations.
Well, nothing short of a miracle that she did not die from her injuries, that she did recover. You look at her, she does not look like she's gone through anything so
Right.
traumatic as that. The movie is He Named Me Malala, and doors open at 7 tonight, and it
That's right.
will be at 7:30 at the Palace Theater. Is there a different charge than normal, or is it just the same Palace Theater charges?
It's $5 for a ticket, and if you want to go online and get your tickets before that, you can go to cantonpalacetheater.org and get your tickets online. But then there'll be tickets available at the door as well for just $5 a ticket. And we know of a number of groups that are coming. You know, people are calling their friends and coming together to be able to have discussion afterwards, and really think. You know, it's one thing to watch a movie like this and to sort of be inspired. I think we'll all have tears in our eyes at times. I think that we'll all laugh and enjoy it as well. But, you know, the question then becomes, so what? You know, what do we do with it? How do we respond to this? And so I hope that that's something too, as we think about after tonight. You know, how do we as a community make sure that we're valuing the young women in our schools and that they are getting the education that they need to? Because there's certain challenges that young women face that is different than the challenges that men face.
Interesting perspective. Joel Daniel Harris is founder of Tom Todd, which stands for Tomorrow Today, about really tapping into the imagination of middle school students to come up with some great ideas to solve problems. You, I see, or Tom Todd is a sponsor of bringing this remarkable opportunity to our Canton Palace Theater to be able to see this documentary. What interest did Tom Todd have in this, and what's in it for you?
Yeah, so a couple years ago, we were able to be a part of bringing a documentary into town called Girl Rising, and it was actually we were able to distribute tickets to students all over Stark County in different schools, and it was really a powerful time to think about the stories of different young women all over the world and the challenges they faced in education and the way that they overcome those obstacles and challenges. Tom Todd's work is with middle school students, and so we see young people and we see the potential that they have, and we see that they have more than just potential. I always say potential is kind of a dirty word, that when a lot of times people say potential and it's a way of putting someone off, of not actually
like they're not
acknowledging.
achieving it.
Right, exactly. And so a lot of times we say kids have potential. I say they do have potential, but not just potential. They also have the ability to do things now. And that's where our name Tom Todd came from. It's tomorrow today, tomorrow's ideas and tomorrow's leaders taking action today and leading us today. So we see through a movie like Malala, a young person who, when she was in middle school age, 11, 12, 13 years old, that she was standing up to say, education matters, and it matters to me and my peers. And we realize, I've heard her say before that a lot of times the human condition is that we don't understand what we have until it's taken away from us. And so when her education, when Taliban attempted to take it away from her, that she realized the value of it and wanted to speak up for it. So we want middle school students here, we want families here, we want the community here to be able to see and hear this story and to be inspired and to think about really the value of the education that we are each able to receive. And then what do we do with that education? How do we, take action from that education?
Well, I think what's so interesting about one of the things you're doing is showing students how something that they can do in their community here can impact a community over there and far away. Some things come to mind, or wasn't somebody involved with being able to help hurting communities get fresh water by digging wells, these kinds of things that Who would think that a middle
Yeah.
school child over here would be able to accomplish something like that? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was a group of students from Oakwood Middle School a few years ago that came to Tom Todd with this idea of having a water walk to raise awareness and to educate people about clean water issues and the challenges that many rural sub-Saharan African women face on a daily basis, where they've got to walk these long treks to get dirty water that actually is unhealthy for them anyway, and then carry it back and maybe have to do that twice, 3 times a day in order to provide water for their family. And in the mix, they end up missing out on an education, and they end up being just sort of their bodies worn down. And so we see just that lots of challenges with that. So these students brought this idea of what could we recreate that in a little way. And so they created this water walk experience at Schneider Park and invited their friends to pay $5 to get out of class and
Oh, that'd be a hard sell.
and to come and participate in this experience. And that first year they raised over $2,000 that went to Nuru International, which is an organization that works with those sorts of issues throughout different sub-Saharan African countries. And then after that, we helped them the first year to sort of get it established and off the ground. And then these students moved on to high school, and they continued to do this. And so they've now, for the last 2 years, continued the water walk on their own, raising over $2,000 each year that continues to go towards these projects. And they're leading the rest of the community in this effort.
Just incredible. And love seeing that it doesn't stop. It continues to grow and grow. You know they're not going to stop when they graduate from high school either. This could be
That's
just
right.
an annual event that everybody looks forward to. You mentioned a few minutes ago hoodies for the holidays. We don't want to let that go without really digging into that. Tell us a little bit about what that is about and how we can help with that.
Yeah, and that's also through the United Way Young Leader Society, so uwstark.org, and if you look under their events there, you'll see more about hoodies for the holidays. But the basic idea is that we've got students in our community that have their eyes and minds set on college or university, but they might be the first generation of their family to be able to experience that. And so, there's all sorts of challenges when it comes to furthering your education. And so just something as simple as having a hoodie from the school that you're looking to go to and a note of encouragement from someone that wrote it for you and get it to you, that it sort of gives you a tangible goal. Every time you put that on and wear it to school, you're saying, all right, I can do this. I can stay with my studies. I can stay in school. I can keep pursuing after this.
What a nice idea. Where do people take these hoodies? To the United Way?
Yeah, if you contact United Way, and there's all the contact information is on that uwstark.org website. And there's also several drop-off locations throughout the county. I know like Carpe Diem Coffee, for example, there's
Of
one
course.
there. At Scenic Brewing, I believe that there's one there. So different places throughout the community that they have these hoodie drop-offs.
And these are new hoodies, a nice new hoodie.
That's right. Yeah.
Don't just empty out your drawer.
Right.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. All right, well, Joel Daniel Harris, thank you so much for being here again this morning. More and more amazing things. Don't miss the movie tonight at the Palace Theater, He Named Me Malala. Also, be sure you check out the website uwstark.org to find out everything about the United Way Young Leaders Soup, first one taking place January 24th. Not too soon to be thinking about that. For the Light, 95.9 WNPQ, I'm Susie Thomas, and this has been Our Community.